My name is Tima, and the purpose of this video is to take you through the possible issues concerning the digital switchover of the second digital dividend in the EU. Our world is constantly evolving to develop better and more efficient solutions to make the daily life of people easier. The revolution of Internet of Things and artificial intelligence is knocking on our doors with automated vehicles, remote operations, or other gadgets. These devices will require a more efficient network, which would of course need more spectrum. And where do we get this spectrum to support all those devices? In our particular case, we will take it from broadcasters. Let me explain. The digital switchover is the process of moving from analog to digital terrestrial television. This process can make the user spectrum more efficient, as digital TV uses much less capacity, and in this way a certain portion of spectrum, called digital dividend, becomes available. This can then be reallocated to other services with a bigger need for it. In this case, this new digital dividend will be allocated for mobile telecommunications. The decisions concerning allocation of a specific band for a specific service are made on an international level during World Radio Communication conferences, which are held every 3 to 4 years. This analysis specifically looks at the EU, so we are talking about a range between 694 to 862 MHz, where the 800 MHz was already assigned for mobile communications. This was not an easy process, as many of the member states had to ask for a derogation because they did not manage to assign this band until the agreed date, which was 1st of January 2013. The assignment of the second digital dividend, so the 700 MHz band, is ongoing, while member states should allow its use for terrestrial systems capable of providing wireless broadband electronic communication services by 30 of June 2020. Derogations are also possible under justified reasons. The release of the second digital dividend is currently at an early stage, and the map provides an overview showing at what stage the countries are at. Already 3 member states have managed to assign this band for mobile, which are Germany, Finland and France. Other countries are in process, so either preparing their roadmap, consulting with stakeholders, or setting a date for auction. The release of this band for mobile is very important. Why? Because 700 MHz is a low-frequency band which can easily penetrate through obstacles and travel further, providing increased coverage. Most importantly though, it is also a part of the frequency band which have been identified as necessary for the first stage development for 5G. Of course, other bands will soon be identified, but this is just the first step. While analyzing the assignment process of the first digital dividend in the EU, where more than half of the member states requested a derogation, which is a significant number, I established some lessons which could also apply for the second digital dividend. There is a possibility that the assignment of the 700 MHz will come along with delays, despite the fact that all member states agreed to make available this band by 2022. Based upon the lessons learned from the previous digital switchover, the possible reasons for delay of the allocation of this band can be identified as follows. First of all, countries share a border with a non-EU country, where the negotiations concerning interference could be more difficult. Secondly, various issues flowing from the current user of the spectrum. For example, the terms and conditions of the leaseholder, such as long leases for a particular purpose, or the user itself. For example, in Bulgaria, the 800 MHz band was used for public security and defense, and obviously, it is much more difficult to take away such a band. Thirdly, political reasons, for example, the case of Cyprus. And fourthly, any other possible technical issues concerning the auction itself. So far, during the second stage, we have seen a higher engagement with a greater cooperation and planning between the member states, and it seems that member states have learned from their mistakes. There are still 2 years to go until most member states need to have assigned this band. Based on the activities so far, I'm hopeful that the agreed timetable will be met by the majority of the member states. However, due to the reasons identified above, there are still challenges to be resolved. Thank you for watching.